curveball hanging, I'm sure they would have ripped you.
Can't you even let me enjoy the moment?
The moment's over.
That's right, everyone. This is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And the moment is over. The game is done. We now need to move on to the Carolina Panthers. We could talk everything we want in reference to the big win on Sunday, but you know what? It's one win. It's over. It's time to move on. It's time to look at the next opponent and kind of go from there. And now everyone's going to say, oh, Tim, you're being so negative again. You were doing such positive things. Now you're so negative. I want to read you a quote. And I want to read you a quote, and it's a very short quote, but it's a quote that I found very apropos. And it's a quote that I'm wondering if people can understand where this quote, and I'm wondering if people can guess where this quote came from. And it's a very simple quote. The simple quote just says, it's just one game. Who could have said that? I don't know who could have said that. Oh, I know who said it. You know who said it? Your head coach, Brian Daboll. He understands that it's just one game, that the Giants just played one game. They have 16 more to go. It's a big win. It's a fun win. It's a great win. But in Brian Daboll's mind, it was just one game. And you know what? I said it before. I like the Daboll signing. I wasn't sure about it because of the fact that, you know what, you have to wonder again if he is a product of Josh Allen, because every place else he's either not had success or gotten fired. But I said the one thing I truly like about him is the fact that and there's always coaches speak. And you know what? You have to respect that. But he's been fairly honest since the moment that he has been here in New York. He has been fairly honest. He's been fairly straightforward in saying that this is going to be a process. You know, we may not have the pieces in place right now, that we are going to have to learn to walk before we can, learn to crawl before we can walk, and learn to walk before we can run. And he understands he is the hero at the moment. But he also understands that it's just one game. And you know what? The moment Crash Davis said it best. The moment is over. It is time to move on. And it's time to look ahead to the Carolina Panthers. And I am more than happy we're going to extol the virtue of the big win today at the 4 o'clock stream. 4 o'clock p.m. stream today with the Dahmer. Dahmer calling all the way in from the UK, as always, to give us his perspective, his insight, everything that he can talk about. But listen to your head coach. It's just one game. Just one game. And I'm going to put that on a T-shirt and wear it on Sunday. If you don't know, we're going to be at the game on Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be live streaming from the parking lot from, I think, about 10:30 to 12. We're going to be in the Verizon, right next to the Verizon entrance in the red lot. I'll give out some more details when we get a little closer to that point in time. But I like I said, I have to love Daboll now. My love affair for Daboll, my man crush on Daboll, maybe taking that turn. We'll see after the next couple weeks. That could potentially take that turn into some seriousness. Will there be a ring involved? Super Bowl ring, I hope, but not the other ring. I want to talk about Pro Football Focus because, you have to talk about Pro Football Focus. Pro Football Focus came out with the Giant rankings, and I love it because of the fact that you look at some of their rankings, and sometimes you got to laugh, sometimes you got to cry, because it's like, okay, what the hell are they talking about? Some of the highest rankings that they had for the New York Football Giants, which I thought was funny. The highest ranking went to O'Shane Ximenez, who led the entire team with 86.0. Next to him was Dexter Lawrence at 79.1, then followed up by Aaron Robinson at 73.4, and Adoree Jackson at 71, and Leonard Williams at 71.2. There was a lot of guys on this list that did not do a lot. But don't worry, there are some of the highest ranked players. Saquon Barkley, only at 74.8. Really? 74.8. After his game, he's at 74.8. But it's crazy. Then you look at the fact that that you look at some of the lowest ranked defensive players. You got Tae Crowder at 29.0 and Austin Cleacher at 28.9. Everyone wants to talk about the Tae Crowder big hit, and that's fine. But you have to look at it in its totality, because you know what? A highlight hit does not mean you had a good game. First of all, he did not hit Derrick Henry head on. He didn't. Watch the tape. He hit him from the side. Henry didn't even see him. Then Henry came out into the second half and even said that he was running too straight up. He wasn't leaning forward. He was running too high. He changed his running style in the second half and gained over 5.5 yards a carry in the second half. We also tend to forget there was about 40 yards in penalties that Henry lost. Tae gave up the big touchdown. Tae gave up some serious yardage and coverage. Same with their old buddy Austin Cleacher. And like I said, I've said this a million times before. Yes, I picked people are like, well, you were so mean to the Giants all week. Well, no, I picked them to win. I was just pointing out the facts. And the facts are our wide receivers, not wide receivers, I can't even talk today. Our defensive backs matched up well against the wide receivers because the fact they really have no one in Tennessee. Robert Wood, bunch of rookies, Austin Hooper. And I said this is going to be one of the few matchups that we actually have, not an advantage, but a push. But I want people to look at the totality of Tae Crowder's game and be honest. When you have 7 tackles and only 4 are solo and you're the middle linebacker and you gave up tons of chunks of yards and you were burned badly in coverage multiple times, that's not a good game, guys. You can extol the virtue of the hit, but can we kind of be honest about his play? I mean, can we just be honest? I mean, is that so difficult? No, it's not. Want to talk about Kadarius Toney and Brian Daboll. And again, another thing that he basically came out and said, and I find this interesting because he was asked about the usage of Kadarius Toney. He says Kadarius Toney is working his way back. There are the plays. We had more than just 7 plays for him, but they weren't called. And we'll see what happens this week. We'll see what happens this week. The guys that were out there, we have confidence in. This is what I've talked about before. The team does not have confidence in Kadarius Toney. This is the second regime that does not have confidence in Kadarius Toney. But then he comes out and says, we have confidence in Kadarius, after I just said we have confidence in the guys that are out there. I think, again, I've mentioned this a couple weeks ago, our wide receiver positions, it's a competitive situation, and they'll be evaluated on a week-to-week basis. Okay, so you can't come out in one moment and say you have confidence on the guys in the field, but you don't really play Kadarius Toney in 7 plays. But then you come out and say, well, we don't, then you basically say, well, we have confidence in these guys. And then kind of saying you don't have confidence in Kadarius, but then back it up a second later and say, well, we got confidence in Kadarius. And I understand that because, again, like I said, you are playing the odds. You are doing the coaches speak, which is fine. But like I said, I do think someone on the stream, and I can't remember who it was, told me that someone on social media or YouTube or something said they didn't put Kadarius Toney out there because they didn't want Kadarius Toney to look bad. And I felt bad, and I wasn't bashing the guy that said it because he was quoting somebody else. I don't remember who it was, but I said that was the dumbest thing I ever heard. You don't put him out there because you don't want him to look bad. You don't put him out there because of the fact that you don't have confidence in him. He doesn't either know the playbooks or he only knows a handful of the plays. You don't put him out there. They will put an NFL coach, and I've seen it firsthand, will put out a ham sandwich onto the field with 0 practice time if they think they can make the tackle. It's not that they don't want to make Kadarius look bad or put him in a bad situation look bad. No, they just don't have confidence in the guy. And this is the second regime right now. And you kind of start thinking where there's smoke, there's fire in reference to the scuttlebutt about the Giants potentially looking to move on from him because they never denied that they may be looking to move on from Kadarius Toney. They never denied that. So it's just interesting. Interesting again. Plus the fact he never played in preseason. He missed more than half of the practices. And you put him in while he had 2 nice runs. He had a drop. He actually had David Sills wide open when he went around for the looking at that play, trying to throw the pass. But we're not going to talk about that. But when you have more confidence in the likes of Richie James, the 5'8" Richie James, Wan'Dale Robinson, Sterling Shepard coming off an Achilles. When you have more talent, when you have more confidence in them than you do for your first round pick from 2 years ago, That's a telling sign. And I'm not sitting here and going to tell you that the Giants are not going to use Kadarius Toney. I'm not sitting here telling you that Kadarius Toney is not going to be the guy. I'm not telling you that. I'm just telling you. I just find it interesting. They talk about not having They talk about not having confidence in the guys that they have on the field, and then saying in the same sense, well, we also have confidence in Kadarius Toney, but you didn't play him. You didn't play him. You thought so highly of him. You thought that he could put you in a better position to win that you just did not play him. After losing Max Garcia to the Arizona Cardinals a week ago, the Giants filled that practice squad spot. They signed Casey McDermott. Casey, it's funny. I actually remember Casey from Jackson. He was signed with Jacksonville originally. He was an undrafted free agent out of Miami back in, I think, 2008. He spent 4 years with the Jags. He was part of the last cuts. I think it was in August. He appeared in 16 games with one start. Most of his snaps have come on special teams, though. He is, he's a filler guy. He's a guy that hopefully we don't need to use. He mainly played at right guard. And 46, I love it because they have snap there. And 46 career snaps. McDermott only allowed one pressure and one quarterback hit, and was called for one penalty, which was declined, earning a Pro Football Focus 66.3 overall grade with a 77.2 pass protection grade from Pro Football Focus. I love it because out of 46 snaps, out of 46 snaps, he's got a 77.2 passer protector rating. I don't know, man. Oh, this is why we call them Pro Football Jokers. Because they are a serious joke. They are seriously a joke. But like I said, I have to give all the credit in the world to Brian Daboll. Like, you got to give all the credit in the world to the game planning. I laugh because a lot of people talk about the game planning and how simplistic it was, and how it was basically if you could keep the ball away from Titans and run Saquon Barkley and do the little things that make you that were going to help us towards the win. And I even said it during the stream. I would take a page out of the Seattle book. Seattle went from 2 going on 3 years now, and do exactly that. And that's pretty much what they did. But you know what? Their offense wasn't much different than when Jason Garrett was here. So the only difference was Saquon Barkley is running like the Saquon Barkley of yore. So I do find that interesting. But you know what? Big shout out and big props to Brian Daboll. My man crush on Daboll is growing. I don't want this to get strange, but my man crush is growing for Brian Daboll. If he doesn't win next week or this week coming up, and as long as they play hard, and as long as they look competitive, and as long as they do all the little things and start showing progress, my man crush will even grow more. But you know what? Like the Daboll says, it's one game. And that's what you have to love about Brian Daboll. It's one game. And even though it's just one game, the goal for the season should be and should always still be the long-term success of this organization and the long-term growth of this organization. We're going to get into Daniel Jones, I think, on Wednesday. We may talk about Daniel Jones a little bit on the stream. Like I said, if you don't know, we're having the stream today at 4 p.m. with the Dom. We're talking about the big one, talking about the Carolina Panthers. We're also going to be at the Carolina home opener. We're going to be live streaming for the parking lot from 10:30 to probably about 12. I haven't decided exactly yet. If you are there, we're going to be in the red lot next to the Verizon entrance. I'll give out more details. We might have the online Big Blue tent set up. I haven't decided that yet, but we'll figure it out. We'll be with the venerable James Williams, it will be his birthday. So if you're in the parking lot and you want to be on the show live, come on and stop by. And again, this is Tim with the Online Big Blue. We'll bring you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could like, if you subscribe, if you can ring that bell, you know what that means. That'd be awesome.